Welcome back to another episode of Keys to Currency, where we interview high-level entrepreneurs doing high-level things. Today, I got another special guest, guys. I got somebody straight out of Tampa, Florida. She's all the way in the ATL. She is the land queen. She is out here killing it, y'all. She is turning people into millionaires by teaching these methods, but she's also doing it herself. We're going to get to know her. We're going to get to know her strategies. Without further ado, please help me welcome Miss Dherby.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I am so excited to have this conversation. First thing I'd like to ask people, what got you into real estate?
I was actually an elementary school teacher, so
Okay.
I did not even intend to get into real estate. What kind of brought me to it was finding ways to make more money on YouTube. So shout out to YouTube University.
Yes, so
Yes,
powerful.
it brought so many people into real estate. So found a ton of videos from different gurus, and pretty much that's how I really got into real estate, from different gurus on YouTube.
Got you. So I think me and you met like back in 2018, 2019,
Yeah.
right? You were in the single family space when you first got started, right?
Yeah.
And single family with wholesaling nowadays is so crowded.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's a very hard asset class to wholesale. What made you transition? Because I've seen the growth a little bit, but for the viewers that are watching this that don't know, like, what made you transition from single family to land?
So, as you know, like it's very saturated with the houses, and it was just something that was not something I could do consistently. I wasn't closing deals consistently. And I just remember a video, I can't remember which guru, I think it was Max Maxwell, posted a video
Hmm.
on talking about, oh, if you want to find motivated sellers, go to tax deed
Okay.
auctions. So I remember going on there and looking up properties, reaching out to everybody on there to see if they'd be interested in selling their property. And I found that like 80 to 90% of properties on the tax deed auction were vacant lots. So I remember getting a double lot under contract, and it was going to tax deed auction, and assigned it to someone who was going to wholesale it eventually to a home builder.
Hmm.
So, and that's kind of how I transitioned to land, because I did that multiple times and it was a lot easier for me.
Gosh, so you started with tax deeds.
Yeah.
Why is it that, like, because I noticed that out here in Georgia, it's like with the tax deeds, it's mostly land.
Yeah.
Is it just like the homeowners just don't give a damn about the lot? Or what's the reason why most of the properties at a tax auction is land?
I'm thinking for two reasons. One, because a lot of people tend to not have a connection to the property as they would, a house where they grew up, or, grandma and grandpa's house, where they don't have that attachment versus, land is just either you're going to buy it to build, or you're going to buy it to either, develop on it later on in the future, or just
Hmm.
get rid of it as, just an investment in general, buy low, sell high. So that's what I'm thinking. A lot of people don't even realize they own land because of the fact that sometimes people pass it down,
Hmm.
and they don't even know that, that stuff has been passed down to them from, other family members. So I'm just seeing that a lot of people don't really have that attachment. So I'm seeing a lot of land on auction.
So in the state of Florida, because I know out here in Georgia, like the tax auctions every month, right?
Yep.
Is it the same thing in Florida?
So every county is different and every
Okay.
state's different. So you're either a tax lien or a tax deed state. Florida is both tax lien and tax deed, where that's the market I'm in. And I'm noticing that tax deeds tend to be a lot more lucrative for me when
Hmm.
I'm doing deals for land.
With the tax deed, right? Like it's every month out here
Oh yeah.
in Georgia. So it's like, are they doing that every single month in Florida? Because what I experienced when I was wholesaling in Florida was like the auctions were not every single month, and every state
Yeah.
operates different. So it's like I was curious to like how.
Yeah, it's so sometimes it's once a week, sometimes it's every other week,
Mm,
or sometimes it's like just once a month. It just depends on the county and like how many properties are going to auction.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you say because single family housing is so saturated, right?
Yeah,
When it
absolutely.
comes to wholesaling land, is it a super saturated niche?
No, surprisingly, it's not a lot of people are tapping into the land side of it. I think people think that there's not a lot of value or you can make a lot of money wholesaling land, but
Hmm.
there is a lot of money, a lot of opportunity, and I think there's even a quicker way to develop into either a developer or even an investor yourself and building that capital faster than you were wholesaling houses.
So if I want to get started in this, right, like what would you suggest is like the first like step I should take? Should I, because I'm a big believer in reverse wholesaling, right? I like to go find the buyers first before I
Yes.
go hunting for the houses because I feel like a lot of wholesalers, especially new wholesalers, when they get into this business, the biggest mistake that they make is they go try to find the properties first without understanding how do I underwrite, how
Yeah.
do we even know what cash buyers are looking for, right?
Yes.
So it's like, what do you suggest is like that first step that somebody should take if they're interested in wholesaling land?
Yeah, and I definitely believe that too. For me, I always suggest anybody who's jumping into real estate or wholesaling land, I always suggest to do the reverse method, which is find your buyer or your builder first.
Okay.
Get their criteria, see how much they're paying for land, where they're buying, what zip codes, try to get the specific criteria from them. That way you can go out and, like you said, hunt for those deals. So that way you can learn the way to underwrite these deals and bring them the properties that are best to matching their criteria.
Okay. Where can I go find builders? Like, where could I go start to find builders?
There are so many ways to finding home builders. Um, you can Google search like home builders in whatever market you're in,
Hmm.
and go down that list and reach out and see if they're buying any new lots, and if they are, see if they're buying and what criteria they're looking for. You can look on from the past tax deed auctions. You can see who's
Hmm.
been buying in the past. There's the National Home Builders Association. A lot of people don't even know that even exists, which is just a list of different associations for home builders. And every main metropolitan area has one. So if you're in a main city, main area where there's growth and development, you'll find that they have one. There, the list goes on. There's networking, putting yourself out there, Facebook groups. Everyone, there's
Okay.
developers everywhere.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's real similar to like single family. You got Facebook groups.
Yeah.
You can find cash buyers on PropStream. You can find anywhere, freaking local meetups.
Yeah.
So builders, right? I feel like so. I did my first land wholesale deal last year. I know me and you talked. You've been like a mentor to me in the land space. The problem is I just haven't really implemented all of the information you've given me because we've made so much money from wholesaling single family homes. But when I did that piece of land last year, it's like I got the proof of concept. I was okay. The stuff Dherby teach me, it works. It's legit, right?
Yeah.
Now, my issue has been finding these builders, right? It's like, who are you? You told us about how to go find them, but it's like, what have you noticed? Like, who are the premier builders out here? Is it like a DR Horton, or is it mom and pop type builders, or is it just big companies?
So it's like a mix. So I'm
Okay.
finding I'm able to create relationships and build relationships with larger builders like DR Horton and their
Okay.
different divisions. The mom and pops, those ones are good ones when the bigger builders slow down at the end of the year. Private developers,
Mm,
I look anywhere that I can, and I know that's like the hardest part, but if you are really good at building relationships with people,
yeah.
it's gonna come a lot easier.
Would you say that's the key thing is relationships?
Oh yeah, being able to put yourself out there and build, strong relationships with people. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think in real estate in general is like if you're not good at building relationships, it's going to be really hard to have success,
Yeah.
right? Even just as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like for me, who someone who's always been like introverted, I had to come out of my shell and
Absolutely.
get used to that, right?
Yeah, definitely getting out of your shell is going to help. And then, like I said, just putting yourself out there. Like, I'm noticing that a lot of people who don't have success in doing this are the people who don't like to talk to people and want to be
Mm.
introverts and stay to themselves and not socialize or carry on the conversation or be very dry when talking to developers or builders. You want to make sure you're engaging in conversation.
So when you're talking to these people or when you're trying to approach them, like, are you cold calling them or are you sending them a text? Like, what are you doing to find these people?
Yeah. So the person who handles buying or purchasing for companies for like
Hmm.
home builders, The title is called the land acquisition specialist or the
Okay.
analyst. Anyone who handles land acquisitions, those are the ones who you really want to build the rapport with.
Okay.
And when I speak with the land acquisition specialist, I either try to contact them through phone call. I typically like to cold call and get their email address, solely the
Okay.
email. Like I don't like to over, speak and, harass them on the phone about where they're buying, how much they're paying. I like to get their email address. Once I get that email address, I like to send them an email because the chances of them responding are going to be a lot higher if I were to just bombard them with questions. And then in the email, I just ask them, hey, I specialize in, getting off-market discounted lots under contract and assigning it to home builders.
Mm-hmm.
Are you interested? Are you looking to buy any more vacant lots this year? I'd love to supply you what you're looking for. Can you provide me your criteria?
Yeah.
So anything along those lines where you can, say things like that, your chances of building rapport with them and then also bringing them the deal. So like a lot of people don't provide value. So yes, they'll give them the criteria, but they don't go out and find the right deals to bring them, or they'll send them things that are completely not within their criteria and then they just shut you out immediately.
Yeah, they stop
Yeah,
responding to you. It's the
exactly.
same thing in any other asset class. So now, what's the reason we're not like calling them and we're just doing the emails because they're too busy, or like what's why are we not trying to have that phone call with them initially?
So remember, they don't know you when you're calling. So you don't want to bombard them with questions. You kind of want to almost like prove yourself when you're a lot of builders they have a lot of things going on. So the land acquisition specialists, they're not just acquiring land, but they're doing a lot of things in the field. They're working with, every aspect of the company to make sure
Mm,
that they're acquiring all the lots that they need to hit quota per month. So they have a lot going on. So when you're calling and they don't know who you are and you're bombarding them, it kind of overwhelms them. But if you're providing value by saying, hey, I do this and I love to provide value for you like this. So by emailing them, it's all listed out. They can see everything. And then that way they can just respond with criteria. And I just noticed that based on what I've been doing, I've seen more success doing it that way.
got you. How many like cash buyers do you think you actually need to have success in this business? Just a handful, or you need to have a good amount?
So, depending on how many markets you're in, I ideally like to say, try to I say reach out to 50 builders a day until you can at least
Mm,
get 7 to 10 qualified builders. Because if you can get 7 to 10 qualified builders who are buying within the same market, that can keep you fed. Your whole
got you.
yeah, the whole each quarter you can fill up, and close a lot of deals with these builders. So, 7 to 10 ideally, you don't need that many. But yeah, that's how I do it.
So, in I'd say around July is when we had the market shift, right? A lot of wholesalers, even investors, got smacked hard in the single family space. I mean, they got annihilated. I know people that lost $300,000 in earnest money, right? Because the problem was like a lot of people got so like hedge fund dependent, and when the hedge funds pulled the plug and stopped buying, a lot of people just collapsed. Their business is just literally they're bankrupt now. What happened with the land space? Did builders also like piggyback off of that and like, listen, we're gonna cancel these contracts for these lots, these acres of land, like we're done? Like, how did the market shift affect the land asset class?
So I will say that it did take a slight hit, but it's not as nowhere near as bad in the single family space.
Got you.
I noticed that there were builders, some that pulled out or decreased prices and asked for reductions, which was
Mm,
fine. But at the end of the day, they were still buying. We're still closing deals in the summer. And I think we heavily relied on our larger builders and the mom and pops, not so
yeah,
much the developers or hedge funds at that time,
yeah.
because like I said, they were cutting back a lot, but there were still a lot of activity. And I think the market took that kind of shift because it was just readjusting back to where it should have been. I
Mm,
think it was the interest rates were low for just entirely too long.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's kind of the best way.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. No, it's for someone that's looking to get into land, because like I said, it's after speaking to you last year, I was like, do we need to just transition the entire business to land? Because like single family, it's like it almost feels like it can be seasonal, so to speak, right? Like we tend to slow down around the holidays for whatever reason. Do you guys have those same issues? Like, is land wholesaling seasonal, or is it just like nonstop year round? Like these builders, they need land.
Yeah, so I would say it depends on the builder. So
Okay.
like our DRs are always buying all year round. DR Hortons, our bigger companies, always buying all year round. But then our smaller guys tend to slow down, especially our mom and pops who take kind of,
Yeah.
vacations and stuff at
Yep.
the end of the year. After Thanksgiving, they kind of, hey, I'll just see you in January. So, it just depends. That's why I say have a nice little pool and a mix of builders. That way you're constantly, closing deals all throughout the year.
Who have you found is easier to deal with? The big companies like a D.R. Horton or the mom and pop builders?
A mom and pop for sure.
Really?
Yeah, DR, like those larger companies, they are pushing things out a lot. They take a lot longer to close. The only thing I do like about the building space is the fact, like builder side of it, is that we don't ever have to put escrow or any money in escrow ever or any EMD
They do that
down.
for
They
you?
do it for us. So
Okay.
whenever they produce the receipt goes directly to the seller, and then it's done. So like we never have to come out of pocket any extra money, which is nice with the DRs and stuff. But the mom and pops, we sometimes have to. So yeah, I do like the mom and pops a lot.
What's the average like wholesale, I guess, fee that you've noticed when actually before you even answer that, right? What type of land are you going after? Is it like the infill lots or like plots of land in neighborhoods, or are you going after like big acreage for like so that we can subdivide and get it ready for a builder?
So for this specific technique that I teach, I love the infilled scattered vacant lots that are already like within a neighborhood. You're driving down a neighborhood, you see a vacant lot here, all new communities or development, to the left and to the right, but just like those infilled scattered lots, those are ideal.
Okay.
Yeah. The larger tracts of land, now those ones are really good deals and tend to have huge spreads. But I've noticed a couple things for our newbies who are starting out. It's not really the best way to start. One, because it's very difficult to comp and stuff like that. Like you can get
Yep.
yourself in a lot of trouble when you're talking about larger properties and larger tracts. And then two, they take a lot longer to close. I've
Yeah.
seen deals like 12 acres take 3 years to close for a developer. Yeah, because it takes time sometimes to do those kinds of deals.
So with the infill lots, that the piece of land I wholesaled, what frustrated me, so like with a single family house, I could literally go find one today and be at the closing table next week. Right? That's what I love about single family. With land, it's like, okay, I found this piece of land. I did the comps, ran the comps. It was an infill lot in a neighborhood. Houses selling for like 400 or 500 grand. I was getting for like 25. Right? And I was okay, this is gonna be a good deal. Get under contract, told the guy I'll close in 30 days. Big mistake because the mom and pop builder was like, listen, I need 60. We gotta do a survey. We gotta test the soil to make sure that we can build on it.
Yep.
So like what's that average time that we need to make sure we have in our contracts to close?
So it really depends on your builder. That's why you have to know the market a little bit, and it's gonna be kind of hard when you're first starting out. I say 30 to 90 days, up to even
Okay.
90, depending on the market, where it's at, and who's buying it. Um, and I say that because they do have to conduct something called the
Yeah.
feasibility study. So they have to go out there, send an environmentalist out there, test the soil, ensure that there's no endangered species, because I feel like a lot of people don't realize there's endangered species that are protected and you cannot touch, move, or disturb. And if you do, it's a felony.
What?
Yes, it is.
What's an example of like an endangered species that's just like, okay, this endangered species on this lot. We can't mess with it.
The gopher tortoise,
Oh
the
wow.
little turtle. So that there's burrowing owls.
Now this is a Florida problem,
Oh
right?
yeah, I mean there's some tortoises and issues in other states too, but I'm noticing like there's burrowing owls, there's panthers, there's tons of different
What?
animals.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, we can't build on that lot because of an endangered species.
Oh, it gets worse. There's sometimes where you can't build because there's a protected tree.
What?
A tree, there's certain trees that are protected
What
that you
kind
can't. I know.
of what kind of tree is protected? We got to build a house. People need houses. Like, what's going on? Affordable housing. Come on, guys. We can't keep protecting all these trees. Let's go. Come on. Wow, that's bizarre to me. So we're past that part, right? Now we got our builders, right? Now it's time to go pull a list. Where are we pulling lists from? We need data.
Yes. So PropStream is a really good tool to use to pull vacant lots. It's okay. Actually, I'm not going to say it's like the best, but it is really good to pull as many lots as you can. Um, I will say that the zoning is a little off sometimes. If you're trying to be kind of unique with the zoning, they're not the best when it comes to land. There's Reonomy that's pretty good. They specialize in land and commercial property. Data Tree is another good one. So
Okay. I've
yeah,
heard of Data Tree.
yeah,
I know I contacted you about that, and you mentioned Data Tree, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. I don't know if it's newer or what the case is, but it's like what the biggest problem that a lot of like direct to seller wholesalers have is getting that good data,
yep,
right? And as much as I love PropStream, I made millions off of PropStream. It's the data is not very accurate, right? I mean, when I try to pull like land parcels off of there, sometimes it's an actual house.
yeah.
It's already there. And so it's like, how do we solve that issue? And which is why I asked the question. Is like, but you answered it. So it's like, do you
Oh,
think that's
another
still something that's like we're still in the beginning stages of getting like right now for wholesalers? It's like getting that good data.
Yeah, I would say that. And then I would also add a really good way to trying to get it as accurate as possible is Deal Machine, driving for dollars.
Mm.
People
Now, could you have to do that in person or can we do it virtually?
virtually. So I have a virtual assistant when I was doing this fully and trying to really see the data and collect info to see which one was better. I noticed that Deal Machine was like probably the most accurate out of all of them.
Wow.
Yeah,
The
and
data part of it.
yes. And the reason why I think is because we were able to virtually drive for dollars and see where the silhouettes were on the like where you can see the house versus
Yeah.
land. And we would just, if our builder said, hey, we're buying in this zip code, we would type that zip code in on Deal Machine and just tap each one. And we can set up filters to highlight, but just have a virtual assistant go through and just tap and add every single one that meets the criteria. And it makes it a lot easier. Yes, it does take longer, but the data is a lot fresher and cleaner. And like,
Mm.
there's gonna be a lot of people on Deal Machine that you'll find, and you won't find on PropStream.
But I mean, if you got a VA like you had, I mean, you basically kind of duplicated yourself, right? With the VA, you got your time back,
Yep.
basically. I mean, it's how long do you think it takes for a VA to build like a list of 100 parcels doing that on like a driving for dollars app?
We like to look at it. For every 100, it should take you about like 10 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, 10 to 15 minutes at the most, because it's not that many. It's highlighted, so all you're doing is tapping and adding once you put the filters in.
so in a couple hours, you've got over 1,000 parcels that you can go chase.
Yep.
So I don't know how it is in Florida, but I feel like these infill lots out here in Georgia are so damn hard to find. Is it like that in Florida too?
No, not at all.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of other states that are just like Florida though, that do that, that are a lot
Mm.
easier. I feel like there's a lot of land out here, so
Are you doing this virtually? You got an office?
oh no, I'm doing this 100% virtually. I do have an office space like for my mentees to come through, but
Hmm.
it's really 100% virtual.
That's the best thing
Yeah.
ever.
No walkthroughs, no pictures.
Do you ever meet with the seller?
No,
Never.
never.
It's all negotiated over the phone.
Yeah, through text.
Wow. So it's just simple 1, 2, 3. And
Yeah, it's a lot. It's really simple. Like honestly, the seller side is easy. That's walk in the
mm,
park. The buyer side, if you don't have your buyers, it's like very difficult. Once you know what your buyers want, and once you start closing deals with your buyers, you already know them. You're like, okay, my
yeah,
buyer's not gonna want that.
you
Like,
just become their hunter.
yeah, it's like a lot easier. So the seller side's so simple.
So let's touch on that because I know with like single family, like you have to have a continuation of training with sales, right? And I always say sales before marketing because it's like you've got 100 other people going after that seller in the single family space. So is the conversation or the sales skills highly needed in the land space? Obviously, you got to know how to communicate with people,
Yeah.
but what would you say is a comparison? You've been in single family,
Yep.
so it's like how good do my sales skills need to be? Is it mainly just about giving their number, or is there some convincing or persuading that I got to do when it comes to these sellers of land?
Yeah, so it depends. I say that there is definitely some not convincing, but like just educating, I guess you can say,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people think that their land is worth, or valued at a lot higher than what they think
Mm-hmm.
it is. So it's just like, hey, unfortunately, with the market being at an all-time high right now with interest rates, We're not buying land, as you know, we're not buying land at that high number anymore.
Yeah.
So we would need to be at this market value price. And then you just give them different comps that are what lots sold for that's similar to theirs. Just bringing them like the ones that sold for the last, 6 months to a year. Bring that to them and show them. Because sometimes if you're showing them this stuff and explaining it to them, the interest
Yeah.
rates are high. People are not buying new homes as much as they were in 2021.
Right.
So once you're doing that, it should be a lot easier. Yep.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Now, with these sellers, have you found that a lot of them are asking for market value for that piece of land, or are they willing to take some type of a discount?
A lot of people are taking discounts when it
Mm,
comes to land. They're willing to negotiate a lot more when it comes to land versus houses because they don't really
yeah.
know the value as much. And then also having a good CRM helps because even if they want market value, and you tag them as a follow up in your CRM, just for them to that CRM to automatically follow back up with the seller.
Mhm.
It helps you being able to close that deal at a lot higher rate than if someone else were to just reach out to them.
And on the other side, with the buyers, like when it comes like a DR Horton or any type of builder, what percent of the RV have you noticed that they're buying the land at?
So it depends because remember, my builders that I work with, they do a lot of pre-sold lots. So they work
Mhm.
with the families first and then find the space for them and then develop. So the houses kind of fluctuate. So they don't really do it that way. Typically how I analyze the deals is by whatever my builder says, like they say, hey Derby, right now we're buying lots in this area for around 50 grand. I will go out and find reach out to everybody in that zip code and offer less than 50 grand. So I don't do like the ARV thing and the percentages.
Yeah.
I just, whatever my builder needs it at, I always go out and hunt and make offers for less. And that's how
Okay.
I've been able to do it.
And that falls back to the importance of having that relationship with that builder and being, their middleman, their problem solver, right? So
Absolutely.
it's makes a lot of sense. So okay, now we got our list. We've built relationships with buyers. How are we marketing to these landowners? What is the best marketing channels? Because I know with single family, like everything works, but what I've noticed is like every market is different,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like text messaging might work in Wyoming, but in Montana it might be complete trash, right? So, what marketing channels have you noticed work best for the land niche?
I've noticed that sending text messages or SMS blasts are the most effective way.
Okay.
And I say that because it just really eliminates anybody who's not interested. And then for anybody who is interested, they'll either continue the conversation via text message or they'll want to hop on a call. I
Mm,
don't really find that, mailers or any like sending out postcards or anything is, as effective. A lot of builders, so if anybody doesn't know, maybe people are asking like, okay, Derby, why doesn't builders go out and do this? Why doesn't DR
yeah,
Horton build their own team and go do this?
great point.
Yeah, the reason why is because their way of marketing is still from like 1999. Like
Mm,
they're not updating their ways of marketing. They just send out postcards a lot of the times and they just throw out a number. So, and a lot of the homeowners, obviously, they don't either see the mail or it doesn't get to them or whatever for whatever reason. So that's what they do already. So I don't really do the postcard method.
mm.
Texting, it hits a lot of people at a faster rate. And then I can go in and cold call after if I have to.
Okay, so text messaging and cold calling are pretty much the top. Well, text messaging is number one,
Absolutely.
but cold calling falls behind that.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of the same thing out here in Georgia. Um, Cold calling for me, 2020, 2021, we killed it. Like that was our bread and
Yeah.
butter marketing channel. That started to die down, and then text messaging also made a comeback, right?
Yep.
Direct to seller marketing can be very challenging.
Very.
It can get very frustrating. The main thing is knowing your KPIs. You made a video about the whole KPI thing. It was very interesting. But I'm glad you put that out because a lot of people like they give up. They'll text blast like 1,000 people,
Mhm.
and they're like, I just text blast 1,000 people. It's a lot. I didn't get no leads. Like, dude, that's nothing. Like, you got to get your numbers
No,
up,
you
bro.
have
Like,
to.
how important are KPIs in this business?
They are super important. I didn't realize that until I had someone come in and analyze my business and tell me like, how many people do you talk to in order to close a deal? I'm like, I don't know. How am I supposed to know that? So when you're actually analyzing the deals and you're seeing like, okay, so if I talk to 3,000 people via text message every single month in order to close one deal, okay, I want to close 5 of those deals. So you're going to times that by 5. Instead of talking to 3,000, talk to 15,000. You want to talk to as many people as you possibly can in order to get those deals closed. Yeah, know those numbers.
Yeah, it's all a numbers game.
It's a numbers
Right?
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Now, what is the best way to choose a market?
So there's 2 things you want to analyze. Well, I say 3. There's 3 things you want to analyze when choosing a market. 1, it has to have land that has been sold. At least over 800 lots have been sold in that area, okay, in the last year. Oh, at least. You want to have more than that.
When you say area, you're talking about in the city?
Yeah, so city is zip code, 800
County?
county, yeah. So 800 or more for lots and land that sold. You want to have 800 or more new construction that has also sold, because that's showing that land's being sold, new construction's being developed and built and sold.
Okay.
Okay.
So not just sold, it needs to be sold and builders building.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
land development, and then the last thing is backing that by market research. So you want to make sure you're like literally Google searching how many new homes are needed in whatever market you're in, right? A new market, excuse me,
You good?
new market trends, market forecasts. Like you want to use different words like that so you can see like new home statistics. Seeing those, Google searching those types of keywords will help back your information to see, okay, is this area gonna, go up, or is it gonna, is new construction gonna start dropping?
Yeah. Okay. So you said Google is like the best place to find
Yeah.
that type of data?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So when it comes to comping, right? I use Zillow basically to comp all the single family homes because I don't have the MLS access. When it comes to comping land, what have you found is like the best site to comp land at the best of our capability?
Yeah, so I say Zillow. Zillow is hands down the best. Just
Okay.
because you can see the air. I'm a visual person, so being able to see like where the land is at that's sold nearby the property I'm interested in giving an offer, right? Seeing any new construction that's recently sold, so I can see, okay, well, I have a guy that's interested in selling. Let me see if there's any other builders that built and sold some, new construction. I'll reach out to them, see if they want to buy this specific property again or nearby.
So when we're underwriting these, we don't need to look for like parcels that sold, right? We want to look at like the new construction homes that
Yeah.
have sold.
I mean, both. You want to look at both. So you want to
Okay.
see both. If land has sold in that area as well as new construction. New construction's fine as well. So either or.
Okay, got you. So we talked about how, saturated single family is. You said, land is not saturated. For the guy that's watching this and they're like, I want to get into land wholesaling, like what steps do you recommend they take to do the research to make sure that I would say to get started with that they're comfortable, right? Because there's a lot of different asset classes to get into, right? You mentioned the reason why you got into it, and you've been able to have a lot of success in it. You're coaching people, but for the newbie that's like, man, I'm not sure about this land. Like, what can they do to learn more information about this?
I would say if you're looking to learn more about this, obviously you want to make sure that you're finding those builders, building those relationships, and just testing that and seeing if it works for you. Making sure that you're in a good and strong market. And then also there's, I have a support group that's a free support group.
Here you go, plug it in.
So come on in and yeah, we are here to help whatever way we can.
And how do they get in that group? What's the name of that group?
So it's actually on a platform called Mighty Networks. A lot of people don't know about that, but it's very similar to like a Facebook group, but it has a lot of other features. But I do have it on my website, missdherby.com. So if you're interested in joining the free support group, I have a lot of helpers in there.
Dherby, I'm gonna need an affiliate link.
I got you. I got you.
So what would you say is the biggest mistake newbie land wholesalers make?
Yeah, so I actually posted about this not too long ago. I noticed that a lot of people who try to do this on their own and not do the builder first strategy, they're ending up locking up properties under contract that are vacant lots that they have no builders for, and no one's even buying land. They don't even know what they're comping. Like, they don't know how to comp land. They'll get them under contract and just post them on Facebook Marketplace and see if it bites.
Oh my gosh.
Or post them on Zillow for sale by owner. And I'm like, you can't post properties that are not yours for sale by owner.
Oh my gosh.
That's one of the biggest mistakes. I've actually caught my student one time. I saw a property in one of my markets and he had it under contract and he posted it for sale by owner. And I ended up calling, thinking it's the owner. And he's like, Miss Dherby? And I'm like, who is this? He was telling me he's one of my mentees. And I'm like, you are never to post your deals on Zillow for sale by owner. That's not, I think that's illegal, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So yeah, that's one of the biggest mistakes I've noticed.
So how important is, we talk about relationships, right? Like, how important is mentorship? Because I look at it like this, like, I jumped into this. I didn't have a mentor when I first started. Right, I went through the school of hard knocks, made a lot of mistakes. Luckily, I had another business to support me when making those mistakes. But a lot of people are going to watch stuff like this. I mean, might watch this episode. They're going to say, "I'm going for it," right? But they make the mistake of going for it by themselves, right? Mm-hmm. How important is mentorship to have success as a land wholesaler?
I say it's very important. It just helps you cut those corners or jump, over those hurdles that I've went through, or, anyone else who's been through this experience of wholesaling and executing and doing this, and has success at it. It really just allows you to undercut all of that and just go directly to getting those deals closed, because you have the guidance. Hey, no, don't do it this way. Do it this way. No, if I've worked with this builder, he likes it done this way. Things like that will help progress you and allow you to get those deals done at a lot quicker rate. And I actually offer mentorship for my students. And my success rate is a lot higher for my students just because I do even do joint venture deals with them. Hey, my builders are buying in this area for this price. Go ahead and start marketing and I'll teach you how to talk to the sellers, teach you how to underwrite these deals, bring it to my builder, and then they're able to close deals within like the first 45 days.
Yeah, I tell everyone that's just starting on wholesaling, whether, whatever the asset class is like JV with people that have experience.
Oh, yeah.
Like yourself, right? That's the best way to learn because they're going to help you underwrite the deal. They're going to help you identify how much are they getting the contract for. As long as you bring the opportunity, they're going to help you see it through and get it done.
Yeah, and teach them, hey, don't bring this because it's on a main road, or this one is wetlands. You see why it's on wetlands? Here's the website to check that. Things like that will help you not only, get to a deal quicker, but have a lot more success because you can close these deals at a lot faster rate.
So I talked a little bit about it earlier, right? What is like that average wholesale fee that usually land wholesalers make when it comes to these infill lots?
So it depends on the market. And people always ask me, like, how much can I expect to make? Well, it depends on the market. Like, there's areas in Florida, like Lee County, for example. That's all like Fort Myers, Cape Coral. That area, they don't really buy land for like over $100,000+. So they're more in like the 20s and the 10s, the 15s.
Gotcha.
So your assignment fees, you can't squeeze in $100,000 in there. They're not even paying $100,000. So you're looking at more volume when it comes to that area. Versus like Port St. Lucie or Miami, those areas, they're going for over $100,000 for just land, a little piece of land, 10,000 square foot, over $100,000.
Is that just because of the demand down there?
Yeah, it's just like right by the water. It's really, really nice. People are moving there. It's just South Florida, So that's where you're gonna make $20,000 plus $30,000 deals. And also, I always recommend doing packages. So if you have a seller that has 7 lots, get them all under contract. Try to get them all. If they're all in one area, that's where you can make 2-3 plus times more your assignment fee.
Over that.
Oh yeah, love that.
Man, dang, I need to get in freaking land. Why am I wasting my time in this single family space, bro? Like, should have learned my lesson a long time ago. I'm gonna make the transition, man. You're gonna be my mentor.
I got you.
Like, we gotta make the transition. Single family sucks right now. So Dherby, like, what's next for you, man? Because like, I've been watching you, kill it the last couple of years. I'm proud of you, by the way.
Thank you.
And like I said, you've mentored me in this space, even though I haven't taken full advantage of it. Yo, she is solid with the information. She gonna give the game away. Don't look at me with what I'm saying. I was killing in single family, but I've wholesaled a deal based off her strategies. Off of this conversation, we're about to make a transition. But what is next for Dherby?
So I have a full team that runs my whole business on the back end, and we've planned out our entire year already, which is really nice.
What?
Yes.
It's January. You got your whole year planned
The
out?
whole year, vacations, everything. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So this was already on.
Yeah. You already know.
Yeah. I feel special.
Yes. Yes. So we have this whole year planned out. So what it looks like this year is I am definitely going to be obviously closing my deals with my students, but I am still going to be mentoring this year.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'm going to be mentoring next year.
Hey, you heard that. Y'all
I don't-
better tap in. The link is below. She said she might retire. So if you're trying to learn, how much did you make wholesale land last year?
I made 1.3 million. Yeah.
Oh.
1.3.
Tevin, she made 1.3, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yes. But that's from obviously JV deals and stuff like that. Doing deals. My students bring me so much. So I think like that's
So
why
not only did you make you said 1.4?
No, 1.3.
1.3. Not only did you make 1.4, but I'm sure your overhead costs were so low because you're JV.
Yeah, I don't do any marketing. They do everything for me. That's why it's like a win-win. And like I said, I'm probably not going to be teaching this much next year. And the reason why is because I don't want this part to get saturated. Yeah, I want it because I don't want my builders to like, oh yeah, I talked to one of your mentees already. Like they already know what I do, so they're okay with it. But like I don't want this to get saturated. I love that it's kind of low key, and I've taught this to a lot of people.
Yes.
Not a lot of
I've
people have
seen you
executed.
killing it.
Not a lot of people have executed.
Yeah.
You.
Shots fired.
But yeah, I just want it to be a nice,
You should be happy I didn't execute
I
though,
know.
because I would have saturated the shit out of the market. I would have got all kinds of data, cold callers, text blasts, and shit out of that data. But yeah, you've been doing a good job. So you don't want to teach because you don't want to saturate it. So you're gonna focus more on the actual business then.
yeah, I make more money wholesaling.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so like
Wholesaling land, I make way more. My builders are obsessed with me. Like they just want me to bring them deals all day, every day. And they'll bring it to me first. And they're like, okay, if you can't find us, all the lots for me, then just tell your students help me.
you
like-
have a partner?
I don't. I do
You
this
do this all
solo.
by yourself.
I do.
You want a partner?
No.
Had to shoot the shot. Dang, that's interesting because a lot of people, especially people that coach it and do well in it, they want to do the complete opposite.
Yeah.
They want to get out of the business and focus on the education.
Yeah, I do. I mean, but the thing is for me, I know I don't charge much for my mentorship, and I like to do entry level coaching. So I don't want to charge someone like 50 grand for coaching because I just feel like when I was starting, I wish someone had the opportunity to like let me just get in for the amount that I charge, right? So I like to help our community, the minorities, the people just trying to find the way out. That's kind of who I cater to personally. I do see that there's high ticket coaches and stuff. I don't like doing that personally. So yeah, that's my reason though why. Yeah.
That's awesome, and that makes it personally. I feel like you're more genuine.
Yeah.
Just
I feel like everyone
stating
says
that. You know what I mean? It's like That's the first time I've ever heard that. A lot of people when they get into the education space and they have success with it, they start to neglect the business or they have someone else take it over and they're like, okay, I'm going to amplify this education business because there's so much more money in it, right? So if I can give my 2 cents with all due respect, I understand you want to phase out of it, but I think you should focus on building a community, which I know you're working on. You're
Yeah.
already doing. But one, don't stop, with the content, you've been doing a good job with that. You're starting to really brand yourself because that's going to create more opportunities. But I would just like gear it towards community. Like give all, necessary game away on YouTube and social media. That's what I'm doing is like, I understand that like nowadays, like your new face card, your new business card is what you put out to the world. Right. And so it's like, it's so crucial for us to make content and brand ourselves, but community is really what is going to separate everybody from the pack over these next couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, how big is your community now? You just started? Has it been going? Like, talk about that.
It's been going. I have well over 1,000 members in my space, and that's mine because I had to do like a revamp, and I had taken everybody out, and I had well over another 1,000. So I have a lot of supporters that help keep me going and really just.
You got a team?
Yeah, I have a team. I have a really nice team. Yeah, of students who are in there really closing those deals. So,
what made you revamp?
Change of partnerships. That's another thing. I feel like I felt like I needed a partner to work right alongside me, and I realized I could do this on my own. Okay, like I don't need someone to, be right along my side. I could do this on my own. So
let's touch on that real quick because, I think partnerships aren't talked about enough when it comes to this business, right? Meaning real estate. A lot of people when they jump into this, they're like, man, I want to get a partner because they're like, I need the help. The problem is they find a partner. If they're a visionary, they go find another visionary, right? You want to make sure you get someone that complements your weaknesses. So it's like, talk about the pros and cons of having a partnership because you were in a partnership.
Yeah.
Once or twice?
Twice.
What made you say, I'm done? Like, talk about the pros and cons of that.
So, my first partner who actually helped build this thing out, like really was the person that built out the wholesaling land, the builder first strategy. I think it was just over time, I feel like I was putting in a lot of the work, even though he came up with the ideas and the strategy behind the wholesaling land buyer first method. I was putting in more of the execution aspect. So he was more like the mental, like in the books, really thinking about critical thinking skills. And I was more execution. So, and, over time, it didn't work out. So that was that. And I learned a lot from that partnership. But, as time gets going, it wasn't the best fit. And then for my second partner, pros and cons, I would say pros were definitely had a really good brand in terms of like just had a lot of a big following, was known in real estate. And then the cons were just like, what you see on social media is not really what it is. You know what I'm saying? So when you start looking in the back end and seeing stuff, things are not as organized as you thought it would be. So you just want someone to kind of match like who you are. So I'm a very organized and analytical person. Obviously, my KPIs, I track all of that from each aspect of my business.
You're about your business.
So I'm about my business.
If I have a partner, they better be about the same shit.
Exactly. And profit first. Like, I don't know if you know the profit first method. I love analyzing numbers, knowing where money is moving. And I just didn't see that in that partner. And that's big for me. It's like organization and structure and being able to see the growth. I couldn't see that.
So clearly you're solo dolo right now. Do you see yourself getting a part of the future? You're just going to keep it. I'm just going to build out my team. I'll hire a COO. I don't need a partner. Where are you at now?
Yeah, I'm good with no partner. I'm loving that. I love being able to just know where things are, and maybe I might hire a COO in the future. But right now I have a team that manages everything. So, and they have been amazing. Amazing.
That's the best place to be at right now. So talk about your team, right? Like how is your team built right now? Like how many employees do you got and like VAs? Because you said you do virtual. Tell us a little bit about how your team's built out.
Yep. So I have a operationals team that handles the whole back end. So they handle all of my challenges, workshops with my students, my full mentorship, contracts, invoices, everything. They also manage, and we built out a CRM ourselves. I created a CRM, me and two other women.
Plug it in. What's the CRM? Let's go.
The CRM is called REICash with a K. REICash is, like I said, fully operated to do everything, any and everything. What you need in CRM, REICash has.
So pause. You told me about REI Reply. I've
I
been using REI Reply.
did.
So I don't know if I want to speak on the other CRM, but I was using Salesforce, like a lot of the big dogs. So I'm part of the Collective Genius Select Mastermind, and you've got some pretty big people in that mastermind, and a lot of them use Salesforce. I'm a simple person. I don't like all this complex bullshit to where I got to spend thousands of dollars a month just to get my CRM dialed in. I hate
Oh
that.
my
I know a
gosh.
guy that recently said he spent $250,000 building out his CRM, and I'm like, dude, no. In 2023, we shouldn't have to do something like that. So I want you to continue on, but how does your CRM compare to like an REI reply?
Yes. So, like you mentioned, for REI Reply, I did have my students use that in the beginning initially, but I noticed that they are not obviously coders and things like that and
Yeah.
trying to build it all out and putting in triggers and automations. So, what separates us is really the fact that it's fully automated already. So, we already build it out customized for you. So, as soon as you
Okay.
are on board, we customize your whole CRM. It's already, we put the templates, scripts, everything already in there for you. And customize it. So
Is
that,
it you customize it based off what they're wanting?
yep,
Okay, so you have that conversation before
yes.
they actually use it and say, "Hey, what do you need? We're going to customize it to your needs."
So once you purchase the CRM, you put in your support ticket to fill out the intake sheet, and then we go in and build out your CRM for you based on what you want.
Oh,
And then we hop on a call with you to, add anything, take anything away. We have coaching calls every single week on Tuesdays to build out whatever else you want to add in there, like triggers, automations, anything else. And we do it there with you. So that way you are getting the help one
so
on
there's
one,
ongoing support,
ongoing.
everything.
Yeah, because that was the biggest issue for us. Is like our students literally had no idea how to do this. They're like, Derby, I thought I was going to be wholesaling. I don't know. I didn't know about the
Yeah.
coding aspect. Come on, I need help. So, like, that really, really changed the game when we did that.
So what else does it do? Because I know like REI probably does text messaging and like you can have all your deals in there as far as like organization, title companies, stuff like that. Like, does it have everything?
It has everything. So it does text messages. It has a triple line dialer as well. That's a new thing
Okay.
that we just added. We're adding a lot more to it. You can change the font, the colors, like the pipeline, the funnels. Everything is in there. There's so much. The list goes on and on and on. And there's a lot of ways to integrate. So if you want to add in your own
Oh,
stuff, you
dope.
can integrate whatever you want in there. Yeah.
Damn. So is it like other like CRMs where I gotta buy credits and stuff like that to do text messages and calls?
So it's not really like credits, I'd say. I would say you do have to add money to your account because we do service through Twilio.
Okay.
And Twilio is the one that helps manage us to keep making sure that all of our text messages are just in accordance to what, we're allowed
Stay
to.
compliant.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So just making sure that we're not going to get shut down or anything like that. We use them and they really, really help us and the developers too. So yeah,
So what is it? What's the like the cost of this? Because I know like RA Apply, what is it like
50
50
bucks, I
bucks
think.
a month or
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
So we're 147 a month.
Okay.
But like I said, we're fully built out for you. You have all the support, and there's way more that's included than with REI Reply or any other,
You guys
CRM.
cater to the needs and customization
Yes,
of now. Would you say this is more suitable for the high level wholesaler or just any level?
any level. Yeah, and a
Okay.
lot of my newbies who jump in, they are all using REI Cash. Or
Hmm.
people who have been experienced, I threw them into REI Cash, and they love it way better than REI Reply or any other CRM they've used.
Damn. So have you guys done webinars on this stuff?
We have,
Really?
yeah.
I might haven't seen it.
I don't know. We've done it though.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check that out. REI Cash. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what I like to ask everybody, Derby, content. Why is content so important, especially for wholesalers and real estate investors?
I say content's important one because you're bringing in a new audience. You're bringing in people that are like kind of built to help. build your brand up.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I say it's also a good learning tool, like to just teach people things about what you're doing. Content is like the new wave now. Like it's really building a lot of, people who are like, you would never know the people who are starting to do the content creation are making the most money from like whether
Oh my
TikTok,
gosh,
social
yeah.
media, like it's going crazy. And I never thought that this would have blown up the way it is now.
Yeah, content is, like I said, it's everything. Like I've been watching you. That's how me and you met,
Yeah.
right? It's like met on Facebook. You've been doing content. We've been able to build a relationship, and I mean, I got you here in ATL. Look at that. So,
Yes.
but most importantly, you're changing people's lives, and thank you for teaching the people. Thank you for teaching me.
Absolutely.
It's been just like it's been game changing for a lot of us out here, and I'm excited to see what happens next with you. So before we go though, do you have any final thoughts, like anything that you want to get out to the world?
Yes, I do. I want to make sure that I let everyone know, doesn't matter how hard you think getting into real estate is going to be, there is an easier avenue to getting into real estate, whether it's, whether you're already wholesaling houses and you want to add on to your technique or your ability to close more deals, look into wholesaling land. If you're new
Mm,
and you want to get started, look into wholesaling land. This is the easiest way to get in without spending so much money. And then also making sure that you're taking action. I feel like a lot of people don't do that anymore. Is they watch people, listen to podcasts like this, but they don't take any action.
yeah.
It's so important to go out there and just really submerge yourself and just take that leap of faith.
Mm. Y'all, we gonna have the affiliate link. Y'all be fools not to tap in with her. Like she's got my cosign. I mean, like I said, she's taught me, and instantly I made 10K wholesale piece of land, but my dumb ass stopped because I was so busy with these single family homes. So she's got me re-energized and excited to get back into this. Yo, would you ever be down to do a masterclass for the Keys of Currency viewers on here?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we got
let
to
me
do
know.
that. So y'all heard it, y'all. So listen, please like, share, subscribe, comment. Most importantly, turn on those notification bells. Um, hope y'all got a lot of value. This was a complete masterclass. We're getting right into that. So, Dherby, where can they find you?
They can find me on my Instagram, Miss_Dherby, Dherby. It's spelled a little different. And then also on my TikTok, Miss_Dherby.
Boom.
Yep.
Here we go. Listen, y'all got to tap in with her. Like I said, we're gonna have the affiliate link. We gonna find time to do this masterclass too, y'all. We're gonna make this happen. We're gonna go live on YouTube. We're gonna figure it out. But tap in. She is changing people's lives. She is the land queen for a reason. But until then, guys, I will see y'all on the next episode. Boom.